Hey Remoras, it's me, Mr. Sharks, and welcome to the sun-drenched temperate paradise of England in the late Jurassic, one of very few times in world history where Britain isn't rainy and miserable. Rather, it's like if you were to turn Washington state into an archipelago and put it on top of Hawaii. Yeah, I mean it's great and all, but we were on something of a roll with the last two episodes. I totally would have preferred the Mormon dinos.
We're with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
The supercontinent of Pangaea has broken apart, leading to the revival of the Gondwana-Laurasia dynamic from the days of the itsy-glitsy spider. It's nice to have those two back, but continental drift has also led to Europe being mostly underwater. This normally wouldn't be a huge problem, but remember that this is 149 million BC, the Dutch have yet to evolve, and it's been a catastrophe for the local economy, as tourism has always been a huge part of European revenue. It well and truly is a damn shame that there is no infrastructure or resorts in these archipelagos. This place is beautiful, making it all the more sad that the Wei dynasty does not see the potential return on investment. But that's why we're here for this segment, to help. Let's support small businesses, let's enjoy the natural beauty, let's make the world a downright better place. And remember, you will be providing revenue to the locals and helping departments develop these many untapped islands. So please, imagine for me, if you will, you are a Eustreptospondylus 149 million years ago. Which is difficult, very difficult. For the Eustreptospondylus had died out by this point. Now let's hope this is the only time they screwed something like that up in this episode. I'm going to choose to believe that it is the only time. Therefore, you guys should have no problem with me keeping track of this. Anyway, did I mention that this isn't even a Eustreptospondylus? It's an altered allosaur model. I told you these pricks were everywhere. Look, it's gonna be one of those days, so please, allow me the luxury of telling why you, a Eustreptospondylus, should check out Oxfordshire. I think I got it. Now, tell me, as a tourist, what is the first thing you need to know about before going anywhere? As established, the future continent of Europe is little more than a shallow sea with some scattered islands atop what is now a lost piece of Earth, the Tethys Sea, the precursor to the Indian Ocean. In 2025, all that remains of its once proud figure is the Black Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Caspian Sea.
Life is so wonderful in motherland, where splendid and dazzling Turkmenistan.
Oh, come on, you think this place wouldn't be beautiful if Kenny said the waters were azure? He's busting out the fine vocabulary for this place. How could it be anything else? I'ma join him. Now let's get to the land. On the perimeter of the islands, you will have the choice to relax on beautiful beaches or have fun exploring the rocky cliffs. Either way, you're getting plenty of sun. But what if you need some shade? Don't worry, you have the option to go into the small forests of Hunter Green. As the largest terrestrial predator that makes their way through these islands, you should have free reign as to what you can do and where you can go. But it's always important that when in Rome, you do as the Romans do. What I'm saying is, you might need the assistance of a Rhamphorhynchus to navigate you through these parts. The Rhamphorhynchus is a tiny pterosaur that, get this, does not primarily eat insects. See those nasty ass dentures it's rocking? It's not a sign of high crime rates, it's a tool to keep slippery fish from slipping away. With the power and blessing of wings, this pterosaur is good at what it does, hunting the aforementioned slippery fish with ease. And they know their way around the islands, which is why you should ask them for help. Especially since they do in fact belong at this point in prehistory. Please keep in mind that they are, for the most part, very shy. A daunting task to be sure for the less charismatic of specimens, but believe me, they're worth getting the company of. The rewards are great if you do get a guide. They know the sweet spots to get good eats, like where to find the bark beetles that hide in the bark.
They represent a tantalizing feast of protein just under the surface.
I love how Kenny just tells us that, like it just had to be in there. Whoa, look out, Liver King, here comes the bark beetle Kaiser. Speaking of which, food is scarce, but nonetheless exotic. You got protein-rich bark beetles and even sea turtles that sometimes wash ashore. They are very tasty with a ribbony texture to boot. However, if you're unlucky, you may not be the only guest on a certain island. There may be other hungry dinosaurs looking for something to eat. But remember kids, if you truly want something in life, all you have to do is scream as loud as you possibly can until you get what you want. Try it with your parents. Now, if you lose the screaming match, please accept that you lost. Do not, I repeat, do not attack the locals. Seriously, they don't get paid enough for this shit. In fact, they don't get paid at all. which is why they have to settle for eating horseshoe crab eggs, which just goes to show it's a hard economy with Pangaea broken, but also that the inhabitants are fed. The Wei Dynasty has that going for them. With all that being said, I must reiterate, please leave the Rhamphorhynchus alone. You are much better off catching your own fish or even asking the Cryptocleidos for their hauls, considering that they do indeed belong in this time frame and even hang out on the rock beds, or so we're told. So, go ask them. They know all about the little things that call these shallow seas home. If you're ostensibly swimming between the islands, you may need to know what's peering at your feet. Brace yourselves, this isn't smooth sailing. An animal that has existed since the OG period, the jellyfish, infest these waters. Make double dog sure that you've packed your pantyhose in vinegar. While we're at it, yet another piece of the Paleozoic past is the ammonite. Sorry we missed you guys at the last party. It is a nautilus-like creature that is more closely related to the octopus and squid than it is to the nautilus. Very wacky. Silly ophthalmosaurus, you think you can handle the radius of this fine specimen? Oh yeah, Remoras, Ophthalmosaurus, Remoras. They were only a million years off, so the introduction is warranted. These guys may look like huggable plushies that you can hold if you have the muscle mass to, but no. They are relative big boys, and they come to these parts from open water to give birth. Much like the Diplodocus, the babies are on their own from day one. Much like the Dimetrodon-like Adaphosaurus, the adults are cannibals, a deadly combo that makes for a traumatic childhood. It is unfortunate to be truthful, but fun fact, these guys jump out of the water like sharks. It's a great way to get rid of nasty parasites and a great sight to behold if you're staring at the ocean from the beach. You might even get a good look at their eggplant markings. Nothing like the mighty ducks of Anaheim to get you in the mood to watch fully aquatic reptiles. But they are nocturnal predators, so sightings are rarer than you might think. Make sure you've got your pantyhose, a bottle of vinegar, and a special underwater flashlight. On top of all that, the haters have found their way into the ocean. What I mean by that is, these are shark-infested waters. Much to your fear, much to my happiness. So much so that I can say fuck the Mormon dinos, they can wait. But much to my unhappiness, Kenny never calls the shark by its actual designation, the HYBODUS. He just calls it a shark.
So uncivilized.
Don't you know how long this specific shark has been swimming in our oceans? Already a couple 100 million years by this point in prehistory, and it's still got more time to roam. He's been around for both iterations of the Gondwana-Laurasia dynamic. Show some respect, Kenny. The HYBODUS is a near constant threat that the pups must worry about. They can find shelter in rock formations or coral reefs, but they will need to come up for air eventually. Something us sharks don't need to do. We're just awesome like that. The need to breathe is a big problem for seafaring reptiles. If they get tired, they'll need to stay near the surface for longer stretches. With that, and the clear signals of an animal in distress, they are in grave danger. That sort of thing attracts predators. Wait, no. Nope. Oh no you don't. Alright, breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam. For the uninitiated landlubbers checking out the Mr. Sharks channel for the first time, listen to this.
It is the largest and most powerful carnivore ever to live on the planet.
When you say that about a sea creature, anything goes. Furthermore, neither the BBC nor the Allosaur dynasty have released an official statement shooting down the allegations of a super predator lurking in its waters. That's okay. I'll do it for you. Allow me to save your economy. At last, we have reached it, the Leopleurodon. To begin, let's not be completely spiteful. We'll give credit where credit is due. Let's start off with the thing that makes this thing, despite the abnormalities, awesome. Much to my annoyance, and surely yours when you were a little kid that learned the truth in any reputable dinosaur book, the Leopleurodon is super effective in this episode. The cinematography on this big boy of the sea is incredible. Really makes him feel not just huge, but also this unstoppable force of nature. Then there's the bait and switch in the intro. We can all agree that it's equal parts crazy, equal parts iconic. There's also the narration. Oh man, Kenny wants this thing to be terrifying. And the same can be said about series composer Benny. The music is so spine-chilling.
This male measures a colossal 25 meters and is big even for his kind.
And this is where the problems begin. Kenny will remark that this thing is 82.021 feet in length.
That's a big Twinkie.
Let's acknowledge that this number was not something the BBC pulled out of their asses. They did math and had something to base the numbers on, I guess. They didn't know how to estimate pliosaur sizes past the skull. So this begs the question, why wasn't Leopleurodon on the top 10 biggest sea creatures list? Because it's erroneous, all fake, based on incorrect data and exhibits. The reason for this gross, maddening overestimation is because what was once believed to be the vertebrae of a Leopleurodon ferox actually belonged to a sauropod, a legitimate big Twinkie. Furthermore, the skull is now believed to take up about 1/5 of the Leopleurodon's total length. With all of that being said, 25 feet is more like it. Not meters, feet. Roughly a third of the BBC's estimate. Bravo, guys. Wanna know something downright hilarious? The length isn't even the most outrageous part about this guy. Yeah, the length of this creature's absurd, but the mass? Take it away, Kenny.
At 150 tons,
Let me tell you a couple of tree things. Firstly, the real number is roughly 1/100th of that total. Secondly, they totally and shamelessly used a blue whale for reference, the only animal even in that range if we're being honest. And third, the blue whale is an animal with blubber, a little something that was only just thought to have been on ancient marine reptiles. Does it look like it has blubber in the resurrection? Do you think they would have taken that into account in 1999? Mammal-like reptile is still in use at this time. No excuse. Unreal. Now get back to work. Are you even in the right time period? Of course you aren't. Continue. Oh, and there's also the hunting patterns to go over. This awesome kill shouldn't even be possible because it's too big to get into such a shallow area, but I digress. There are more pressing matters to address. Because you know what else gets their good eats like this? Yeah, that's right, demon spawn. You even have the same coloration. May as well have snuck in an inverted pentagram, BBC. I'm getting ahead of myself. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. From the top. Oh no, the shark ate it. That's a shame. Point being, please be careful while island hopping, for there is no one for you to sue if you or a loved one dies. Let's just talk about the weather. That's a good conversation starter. This is the Jurassic, where there is more carbon dioxide in the air. Compared to today, I mean. This isn't the Great Dying. It's just warmer than usual because of the greenhouse effect. That's great and all, but the storms here are crazy.
these islands are regularly ravaged by violent tropical storms from the east.
You heard him right. They're capable of causing billions of dollars of damage in today's money, and may cause injuries. Fortunately, if you don't get hurt, the beaches will eventually be safe for you to return to. Unfortunately, they will be covered in dead bodies. Ugh!
The old Leopleurodon, disorientated in the murky waters, has ended up stranded on an island beach.
Well, well, well. Not so high and mighty now are you, Mr. Largest Carnivore ever to live on the planet.
The carnivore's own 150-ton body is slowly suffocating him.
Okay, that is a terrible way to go, outrageously oversized marine reptile or not. I should mention that this doesn't happen too often. You may or may not be as lucky as these tourists. Don't demand a refund is what I'm saying. Alrighty, I think we've laid out everything to the best of our ability and acknowledge our mistakes. Therefore, we can't get in hot water for false advertising. Yay! So please, if you are Eushreptospondylus 149 million years ago, please do come to Oxfordshire. You know what you're in for. What do you mean the setting is not in the right setting?